it's Lauren Abrams from 52 Weeks of Hope, and I am so excited to have Dr. Widian Nicola again. She is this week's episode, which is episode 203, Building Trust and Safety in Relationships, how you get to thrive, maintain, and have a healthy one. And she's working on her best-selling book that's coming out, and I will let you introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Well, wherever you are in the world, I know I'm in central New Jersey right now, living my best life, 80-degree weather after a crazy tropical storm last night. I'm Dr. Widian Nicola. I'm associate professor of social work at Seton Hall University, and I'm an expert in expert and psychotherapist in couples work here in the central Jersey area, mainly in Princeton. So it's great to be with everybody today. Please listen to the podcast. Hopefully it'll shed some light and make you feel really good about the direction you're going in your relationship.
Yeah, it's so good. My friends are already like, this one's so good. I said, I know. Even the whole Podify team is like, this is such a good episode. I said, yeah, I really, really like it. And I love the way you talk about all the different types of couples and how just expressing gratitude for your relationship, just something that simple, can change everything, or saying thank you. And I've always been big on if I'm angry or something, just writing a gratitude list. By the time I get to the end, I'm like, oh, you're so great.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And gratitude too, Lauren, it's not just a way in which we interact with the people around us, but it's a way that we express who we are to other people, meaning that gratitude it's an energy form. It's something that's quite palpable, and it's a way of, there's a message in gratitude. It isn't just thank you so much because you did a really gracious and nice act for me, but it is a way of acknowledging and recognizing that I see the person that you are in the way in which you are a gift to me. So gratitude is massive in life, generally speaking, but imagine how much love and joy there is when gratitude is expressed on a daily basis. And you wouldn't believe this, Lauren, a lot of people have a hard time just saying thank you to their partners.
Is there a reason? I mean, why? I guess if you're mad or something, I don't know.
The number one reason I hear all the time about why couples don't say thank you is because it's something they're supposed to be doing anyway. So if a partner cleans the dishes or sweeps the floor or picks up the kids, why would I say thank you to that? Because that's just a normal thing that I do. It's like, it's a given that you would do that. It's not this act of supernatural service. It's basic. But obviously I have a completely different idea about gratitude, generally speaking, that the more gratitude we express, the more we reinforce that love and connection and positive feedback to our partners, so that it reinforces the behavior too. But yeah, a lot of couples don't say thank you, even for the simple things. My husband often, I'll just say thank you, and he's like, for what? I'm like, yeah, for just doing that, because it's gracious. It gives me peace of mind. It makes me feel whole. It makes me feel at peace at home, that our home is clean, or that the everything is done. So there's a sense of appreciation and gratitude that he receives from me daily. But it's complicated for couples to do.
Well, okay, so you just mentioned a whole bunch of things. It makes me feel this and that. Like, some of us don't know how we feel in a moment. Like,
good point.
Yeah. So what would you suggest if we're not knowing how we feel in the moment? Those are a lot of feelings that to get to know, you might be, it feels good, which isn't descriptive. I was taught if it describes dinner, it's not a feeling.
That's actually really good. Well, a lot of people say I feel fine. And in recovery work, which, I worked in inpatient addictions work for a really, really long time. But the standard word fine meant fucked up, insecure. So as you probably heard, it's common, but the truth is, fine is not really a feeling word. And to your point, if for individuals who don't really know how to identify their feelings, let alone express it, it can become a really complicated way of connecting. If you don't know how you feel, so oftentimes we sort of struggle to make sense of what's going on for us. If we can't figure out what's going on for us, it's hard to orient what to do about it. And what steps to take. So, unfortunately, a lot of the work has to do with self-reflection, self-awareness, as easy as Googling feeling words. I know that's bizarre. Going through the list.
It's not bizarre. I talk about it all the time. Googling feelings chart.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's true. And the way in which we can identify how we're feeling is to go down the list and figure out which word resonates the closest. If the word resonates, it sticks, it makes sense, it creates some kind of like even like embodied impact, then that's the feeling you're feeling. It's more difficult than I'm making it, or it's simpler than I'm making it sound, but it can be incredibly difficult for people to experience.
Okay. And also, what I want to know, what's the number one way to make a relationship thrive? Like the long-term relationships, people are like, oh, we don't get mad, or we don't go to bed angry, or, which that's not true of my marriage. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that notion because a lot of couples need space to be able to process their emotions. Some people are faster to process them than others. So if they need a night or 2 nights, then that's what they need. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to bed angry. It means that they're going to bed having to process and digest a bunch of information. But Lauren, honestly, human relationships are complicated. So there's never one answer. If anybody tells you there's one thing, they don't know what they're talking about, because it's not. Fundamentally, what we need is a commitment to love and understanding and empathy and compassion, just generally speaking. But if I were to maybe have to distill it to one thing, which I think is very difficult to do, I would say a commitment to heal and grow and change. If that commitment is there, then most people will go the required mile that they need to in order to find the tools that they need to be able to grow their relationship, heal and repair conflict, understand their partners better. And just as long as there's a commitment to improving a relationship, anything is possible. I really, really, really believe anything's possible.
I love that. So a willingness just to work on it and keep going.
Right. And if there isn't a reciprocity, or there isn't a level of commitment from both partners, or three
Mhm.
partners, depending on the type of relationship that you
Yeah.
have, it's not going to work.
Okay.
It just,
And so you talked about the 4 pillars in
yes.
the episode, which we don't have a lot of time to go into, but you did it fairly quickly. But it seems like you just brought up 3 of them anyway.
Yeah. So I
Um,
talk about these 4 cornerstones. That's why I don't think it's necessarily one thing. And these 4 cornerstones are the
yeah.
things I've discovered over the course of both living and studying, and also practicing and working with couples primarily. But these are sort of 4 key essential ingredients that make a relationship strong and healthy and foundational, and fortified, if you will. Empathy. And surprisingly, besides empathy, one thing that we don't often talk about is play. And play has a massive impact on the health of a relationship, because oftentimes couples will have very serious lives. They're running the show, they're both potentially working. If they're not both working, they maybe have some family complications that they have to deal with within the marriage and outside of the marriage or the relationship. And so play is the first thing that gets neglected.
Yeah.
It's the first thing that gets put on the back burner. And quite frankly, you can't be doing deep dive into your relationship and what needs to improve and doing the hard work without coming up for air. And ironically, the more we come up for air, the more the parts of our brains that help us with creative imagination, solutions, the more that part of the brain is activated. So when we do have conflict or complications, we can access that part of our brain to find these solutions to these complicated conflicts a lot faster. It's an essential ingredient. It has to be.
I love that. Okay. So the other cornerstones.
Okay, so empathy is huge. What is
Mhm.
empathy? Just very quickly, I will define it. Empathy is an experience or a process whereby I am able to find something that resonates within you about your experience. It's connective. So the word resonance, for example, comes from the root word sonar. And you know what a sonar is. The sonars are these things that we use in submarines, right? They give off these sound waves. that happens between people. And what that means is that when you express a feeling or an emotion or experience to me, I may not know exactly what that feels like because I'm not in your body. But whatever energetic frequency you're giving off is a frequency that will help me situate your experience within myself, meaning that I may not have lost my grandma, but I do know what loss is. And so, can I tap into what loss might feel like, what it might feel like not to feel heard or seen or loved? And empathy is a way of saying, let me orient myself to how you might feel and respond from that place. So, if my partner comes to me and he says, I'm really uncomfortable about this one thing, empathy is to say, let me put myself in his shoes. What might it be like for him to feel this? And as sort of as consequence, what do I do about it because of that empathy that I have for him? And it's a commitment, right? And often there's a lot of barriers to empathy because guess what? I'm not trying to think about your experience. I'm not trying to think about what's upsetting you. I really, most of the time, just care about me and making sure I'm safe, secure, and get my way and feel heard. So empathy requires a lot of work, but it's a necessary ingredient.
I guess trying to stay open and compassionate and
yes
present.
completely present. And another one of the four cornerstones is intimacy. The thing about intimacy, and oftentimes when we talk about intimacy, there is a bit of a confusion that intimacy means sex. Sex can include intimacy, but intimacy doesn't need to include sex. And what do I mean by intimacy? And what does intimacy requires? First, what is intimate? Intimacy is a deeper connection with the people around us. The way in which we develop intimacy is by taking a bunch of risks and being completely vulnerable and authentic.
Yeah.
If there are barriers and blockages to being our full authentic selves, we will not know the depths of connection. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. Intimacy. I experience intimacy in my partnership when I'm a fucking mess.
Yeah. Yeah. My friend says, if this is going to make you feel cringe, like you don't want to share it, you're like, that's when you know you're being authentic.
That's exactly right. Right. So intimacy is a massive part of thriving relationships and feeling incredibly connected and aligned with the people around us. So what else? What am I missing? That sounds about right, I think. That's our four. But so let me just say this. I was actually just looking at my notes because I wanted to share something with you. But the way in which we sort of build on these things requires work. It requires effort. The irony is the more work you have that you do in a relationship, the more ease you get. It's an interesting paradox. There are two sides of the same coin. The more effort that is invested in getting to know your partner, getting to know yourself, compromising, really prioritizing understanding rather than being understood.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's hard in the moment, the energy that it allows for later comes with is ease. So it's hard in the moment, but it permeates ease after the fact.
So go do the hard work just to get to the place where then you get to skate for a little while till it happens again.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this stuff is so interesting, Lauren, the way in which we think about people, the way we think about ourselves. And fundamentally, we're all the same. We have different templates. We have different designs. We have different ways of viewing the world and being oriented to what our relationship should and shouldn't look like. Completely different variations. But at the bottom of everything, we're all the same. There are universal truths about what it means to be human and what it means to be connected and loving. It's heady stuff, but on a practical level, all we want is to feel loved. That's what we were born and created for, ultimately.
Mm-hmm. I know a friend of mine was talking about how she never feels like she's enough and this and that and all the old stuff. And yet she's one of the most amazing humans and in such a good relationship.
Yeah.
I don't know if she ever tells him that, but like, it's so amazing. All the old ideas, and always
Completely.
working through it. Right.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point too, that we come with baggage. We come with these very core beliefs that we hold about not just ourselves, but about the world around us. Am I lovable? Right? If I believe that I'm not enough or I'm unworthy or I'm not lovable, that is going to determine the way in which I interact and expect my partner to be toward me.
Hmm.
It's a filter. And it's really, and like to your point, right? Like your friend can't clearly see her worthiness and the level of love that she deserves, because for some reason the work really has to begin with her offering herself the love before she can
Oh
fully
yeah.
receive it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always so interesting. Like, you know, shake people going, we can see it so well for our friends. Yeah.
I know. It's so hard though. This stuff is hard. Why?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
like, why
yeah.
is human being, why is being human so hard?
Yeah, I know. Oh, the beginning, you guys, you have to listen to the beginning of the episode. The way you even started. I'll leave it at that. It's just so good. This is great. Are there any last little nuggets that you want to throw in before we end our
I
live?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
this is the truth about relationships is this. If you want a healthy, happy relationship with someone else, you have to cultivate a happy, healthy relationship with yourself. That's just the bottom line. What that looks like is up to up to you, but more times than not, the healthier we feel, the more we love on ourselves, the easier it will be to love and be patient with other people as well.
Yeah.
So go get them, tigers. Get out there
We,
and be
we,
courageous.
so wait, do you believe in affirmations and looking in the mirror and all of
All the time.
that? Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. Oh, yeah, Lauren, absolutely. I mean, I do think that some people with at least complex trauma, for example, or a history of some dysfunction or pain or distress psychologically in childhood should go to therapy. I think everybody deserves
Says the
healing.
psychotherapist. Yes, I would, I would think you would say that.
Opinion. I'm not even gonna
Right.
lie about that. It's
Yeah.
biased. Yes, completely. But there are so many other profound ways of finding enrichment for oneself: positive affirmations, meditation, mindfulness practice. And actually, I think women do a really good job of this with each other, right? Being each other's hype women. So if there's a way for you to
Mhm.
hype yourself up, I think that can go a long way too. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she says that to the mindfulness meditation teacher. So yeah,
Right.
of course. Yeah. So, oh, I love this. And we have links to everything for Dr. Nicola, of course, available below. And this is so great. We are going to do this again. We'll keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Thank,
Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate you.
yeah. Thank you.